The language.
All right, we're live. Go ahead, Dan.
Okay.
No
Take it
fit
away.
fighting yourself.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. The first piece of our agenda, we will, well, you can take the roll call, but our first piece of agenda would be approving the minutes of the, what was that day? September meeting, was it? Yeah, September meeting. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes?
I did want to note that Sandy did these minutes, so thank you, Sandy, for taking over on
Thank you, Sandy.
helping with that.
I saw a couple of things earlier. Like,
We'll overlook them.
I haven't done it for so long.
It's fine.
Okay, hearing no corrections or additions, the minutes stand approved as printed. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Minutes approved. Second item on the, I'll turn this over to you, so you can talk about the Paul Cochran.
Yes,
Let me make one quick announcement, though. The restrooms, I stopped at the city park, the restrooms are, new restrooms in.
Oh, really?
It's not functioning yet, but they put it in today.
I was gonna say, it must have
Okay.
happened today.
today.
Because
Yeah.
I walked past there a couple of days ago and.
Mhm.
No, it happened
they
today.
were-
So
Oh,
is
okay.
it's a one unit?
Yeah, it has
Really
two,
nice looking.
two
It's-
restrooms.
Okay.
It's
And
quite
they put it on
a,
top
it's
of the
Stop there on my way home.
They built.
it's a lot better than the one you used to see going in
Yeah.
there.
It is nice, and I think that when you drive up now, it's more compact and you can see the park better. You don't just see, I mean, it's there, but that does look really nice.
Welcome
The
to our,
Welcome to the restroom.
Public Works did a great job.
good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it does. It's
And
real
it
nice. Looks
faces
real
the
nice.
playground, which makes
Yes,
much more sense.
so you can
than-
see,
Yeah, yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so the design for the park is back. We've had a couple little back and forth adjustments to it. Met with Public Works and city manager on site with the park designer. Went through, she had all the materials from
Oh.
these meetings and Eric Neiman and all of those materials to look at. And I'm going to, she gave me a little bit of a slideshow to go through with you so you can see what some of the reasons why she designed it the way she did, which I found very helpful.
Okay.
I did meet with Eric Neiman and Autumn. I'm missing her last name, but she's with the Timber Guild that's going to help with the pavilion. I met with them last Friday. And so Eric has seen this and he's working on getting some letters, updated letters of support for the actual design so that we can go to city council. Hopefully, if you all like the design and want to make a recommendation, and then we'll take all of that to the city council in November and try to get final approval so we can get going on plans and get the memorial going so we can utilize the grant funds that we have.
What's the name of the person who is designing the park?
This was Land Current. She designed
What's her name?
Anita. You have to put me on the spot.
Land
Anita
Current.
Van something.
Oh.
I can look it up. She designed the Flossie Overman
Oh,
Park.
Sherman, yeah.
Mhm.
So
Oh,
she-
yes.
Is
Oh,
she
okay.
local like Corvallis or? Albany?
She's in,
Salem, I think.
Salem?
I think she's out of Salem or Eugene. Uh-huh. So she kind of has some familiarity with,
Mhm.
you know, what we're doing already.
She did a good job with the Flossie Overman Park.
Yeah, she did.
Mhm. Yeah, she's been really great to work with.
Okay.
So.
And the only other thing I would say
Mhm.
is I was surprised one day when I went by there that the tree is cut down.
The tree
Yeah.
was, so,
Yes.
I don't know if you.
It was totally rotted inside.
I
It-
don't know if that was discussed at our last meeting or.
no,
No.
they went to trim it because we were going to be starting to be on the property and looking at it. And there was just a lot of compromised materials on the tree.
Mhm.
So they just felt like it wasn't going to be able to be saved. It just was, it was the
It was
way that
so-
it, well, because it had been cut previously and
Mm.
basically it was a bunch of like suckers that had
Mhm.
grown into a big tree and they
Well,
they
that's
had a
what I
lot.
heard, that it had been cut down.
Right.
And so that And as I said before, my son lives right next to there, so
Oh.
I've seen that tree and I knew
Yeah,
that
Yeah.
there were a lot of dead branches,
Mm.
not being.
Yeah, in fact,
Arborist.
I tried to count the rings and it was so
Oh.
rotten in there.
Oh, no
You
kidding.
couldn't
Couldn't
count
even
them.
count
Oh,
them.
Wow. Yeah, so,
I've had
Well, it's a good
questions
thing.
about that, but I told them that I thought that there was something wrong with it.
right, and you'll see in the design, I'll start screen sharing. And like I said, you're not gonna be able to see the whole thing, but I'm gonna tell you when you can flip those over and look at them
Is
to
it
kind of
big?
go along with it. Okay. I want to share.
Is anyone online?
No.
No.
Oh my goodness, where did it
Also,
go?
while you're doing that, is this going to be our November meeting?
Well, that's up to
Mm,
us.
Yeah, maybe if we don't.
Or,
Who's that
Hold on a
talking?
second.
I'm hearing
I
voices.
don't know why that just happened.
Is that-
Sorry. There we go.
It's not a good thing.
No, it's technology. Just gotta love technology.
it's.
Not anymore.
It's talking to you.
I used to. Not anymore.
Okay, so I'm gonna screen share this, hopefully. Okay. You'll be able to see it up there. But I
Okay,
said,
so
like
the
I said,
question
it's,
is do we
cut off.
take from the bottom to the top?
no, you can flip it. You can flip it over.
All of it or just one?
So they're a little bit out of order probably, but,
Oh,
so first, I'm just gonna let you kind of look through this and then I'm gonna go straight into the explanation of some of the areas before we like discuss it. So you can.
So if, just a point of reference here,
Mhm.
the person that's standing there are they standing on College Street?
That is College Street, yes.
Okay, so
Oh, yeah.
it's a
I
different.
see.
The playground's to the rear.
The timber.
I was always thinking that we would be
Right,
gonna view it from College Street.
right. So let's just go through it and I'll get to that because she has some pretty
Oh, what is
good
that
explanations for
building?
why.
I still want to know.
I know, I'm sure there is. I just
That's
wanted
the
to
house
make
next door.
sure.
I wondered.
Looking
Okay,
at it.
thanks, yeah.
Okay, so you have the documents. I'm gonna get
Oh, it's just-
into this part. And like I said, some of it's cut off, but I'll try to read it as best I can and get you direction on where it is. So if you're looking at, you can see College Street, 16th Street. The designer went with this diagonal view to open the view of the park so that you're not looking into the park and having your eye visually get stuck on a pavilion or
Okay.
a structure. She did that very intentionally also so that when you're coming down College Street, you see the memorial itself,
Hmm.
like you see it more than if it were positioned the other way where you would have to turn to look at
Yes.
it that way.
Mhm.
It's a great idea.
Right, so that was what she was thinking, and then so the line of sight goes all the way to the back where there'll be fences. I will stop with the trees and shrubs in the back with the fences. I will make one note that, oh, this one's updated, so never mind. On these drawings, the memorial itself is slightly off center. You'll notice on the drawings that I handed you. That's been updated on these maps. You can see that it's more centered. We made some adjustments with where the tree was placed, and we also added a walkway behind the memorial to go to the flagpoles and put the flagpoles in concrete so that they'll be easier to access for events where people are putting up flags.
So the memorial are those two rectangles there?
The memorial is, so the biggest circle, the biggest tree, the memorial is just to the left of that.
The thing with all the rocks or whatever, is that where the, no, is that the memorial?
Let me see if
Or
I
is that-
can.
Oh, I see there's three rectangles there just on the edge, the left side.
Oh, I'm not looking at the right thing, yeah. The arrow point is almost right where it is, right?
See if I can get this pointer on, I cannot. Yeah, the arrow kind of goes through where the benches
Mhm.
are that are facing the memorial. And if you can kind of see my thing here. Oh, there we go.
Okay. I
Here's
got
the
it.
memorial right here.
There we go. That's it right there.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
where that little arrow is?
Yes,
Okay,
right
I was
here.
looking at the totally different thing.
So you sit here out on these benches, looking this way at the memorial. These are
And
the
that-
flagpoles.
Oh, okay, I got it.
And that big circle is gonna be another.
This is going to, we're going to try to get a larger caliper tree so that it's a little more mature to
Hmm.
kind of replace and memorialize the tree that was there. We're going to try to get a similar species to what was there. It was a maple
Okay.
tree.
Yes,
Okay.
it was, little leaves. Mhm.
Okay, and so again, on your drawings, and you can kind of reference, there is the last drawing in your pile is the version of this with more detail on the plantings. But again, on this drawing, you'll see that the memorial is not centered, that has been fixed and it is centered. So you can see that there's a large canopy tree there. And then she's talking about the vegetation here and how she's run the vegetation also kind of parallel through the park so that your eye again carries through the park. And she's suggested tree plantings that will serve as street trees and park trees,
Mhm.
so along 16th. And then just she suggested some other trees to increase shade in the park.
So this particular one here, this is more where it's actually going to be, right?
It's moved this way slightly
This
toward
one?
College Street so that it's centered. You see how it's not centered with the concrete square? It's off centered.
Oh, yeah,
It's centered now.
see.
So is this the final, what
And
it
this is
should look
college.
like?
Yeah, that's a concept rendition. The pavilion looks different. She just did not have a drawing. We don't have a drawing yet.
What are these actually?
That's just the way that the conceptual designs like this grass.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and shrubs.
Yeah.
The plantings in here do not look exactly how they will look. It's a very
Idea.
high level look at it.
And so in front of or to the east of the memorial is kind of a courtyard. Is
Mhm.
that right? With the benches around it? Is that what?
Right, that's intended to be where you would sit and reflect. And then if there are events, there could
Oh,
be
yeah.
chairs placed there
Mhm.
for additional seating.
Oh, right.
Or standing there, so
That's
there's
good
just more
idea.
room for
Okay.
people.
But it looks like for the size of that area there, that seems like a lot of stuff in there that.
Yeah, she's done I was skeptical, but she's done a very good job of fitting everything in that we
Mhm.
asked to fit in, which is pretty amazing. The shelter and monument are outside of the diagonal, so they're not quite in that direct diagonal, which allows your eye to meander through the park.
Is it locked?
Come on in.
Hmm?
She thought it was at
Oh,
4:30.
Oh, hello. come.
Where did it say that?
She said that you may-
On the email.
What email?
I got it, yeah.
Come on in. We just started. We'll get you another set here.
So the raised, I was mowing my lawn.
Yeah.
Here,
I
hand that to
didn't
Carol.
do that.
I
Why?
had to get it done today. So
Why?
somebody's putting a frolic banner up in my front yard and I was
Oh.
embarrassed to how it looked to me.
You're good. We
Nice.
just kind of started. So we're,
So I just have a question on that round thing that's on the upper side of the arrow,
This?
not that, that's
this,
like a climbing structure, but that thing.
it's playground equipment.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it looks like the grass is above,
It's not,
but
yeah,
it's not.
no,
Okay.
that's just how these
yeah,
design softwares
okay.
look. Yeah.
It's just, it's flush with the ground.
It is a little strange, or, and that's just shrubs and grass would go here. That's kind of what that is. So there would be some shrubs
Oh, sure.
planted.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a full landscape plan. It's just she does like the trees mostly and some shrubs.
And according to this last one, it looks like she wants to try to keep a couple of the existing trees there.
Which one are you looking at, Larry?
This last one.
Oh, that one.
This one.
The ones that are on College Street.
So,
They're in the back.
no, they're in the back
Oh,
corner,
very
so
back
the
by the
orchard
house.
trees.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Fruit trees?
What's that?
Aren't they fruit trees?
They're fruit trees.
Yeah.
They are.
So we really, I talked to Eric Neiman
Mhm.
and neighbors and the family really, it was important to them, the orchard, their mom really cared about the orchard and the trees. So we're going to try to retain. I think there's a couple that we've identified that seem like they're healthy enough. And then the suggestion is to put some additional, like a flowering tree or something that would make it look like it's an orchard, like a smaller flowering tree. So that it looks like that back corner is still an orchard. Although there'd just be like a couple trees that are fruit producing, which you don't always see in a park, but that is kind of what makes this park special.
Yeah.
Mostly apple in it.
Yeah, there's a really nice golden plum tree there. There's a pear tree, apple.
Grew over
Okay.
over the fence that,
Mhm.
not bad.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to see there's a roof on the pavilion.
Yes, and again, this pavilion is not the pavilion. The pavilion that you saw before that was wood with the peak like this is more the pavilion that we'll have.
Mhm.
And that's. where-
This is just the mock-up that she had.
So, but this drawing
Like in
now
the
is
middle.
I'm not sure where
kind of
the,
twisted
The
around.
pavilion's the dark square here.
Good argument, oh, yeah, okay.
the one down,
Mhm,
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, so
Shelter.
mhm.
essentially this is that way to that.
Yeah, they're all-
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, I'm just getting my bearings.
It's
Turn
just
around
the
here.
lawn, it's just the way they hide it.
Yeah, it's just shrubs and lawn and it's just the way that that it looks on their concept. Their 3D design is just,
Oh, I see.
it's just a strange effect on the design.
that's a swing set there.
Yes,
Like it's a
so
little
the neighborhood, the survey that went out, and I'll get to that when I get there, but they,
Okay.
one of the things that they wanted to see was a swing set. Let's see where we are here. So planting,
What are these, monkey bars?
you can read most of this, but
There's one of these in the
And
waterfront
the
over at
city will take care
Corrals.
of maintenance.
What's that?
of
But that dome,
the plantings,
Oh.
hopefully, I mean, it would be nice too if there
Yeah,
are
it's
any
down on the
veterans
waterfront.
groups or
Oh,
someone that wants to also help with that. We'll see. So the planting, she's kind of shown us up here that she's tried to make some plantings to block the adjacent properties and give them privacy, provide shade. The street trees that are along 16th, she's tried to not just have those be in a line, but be park/street trees.
Okay.
And then that there'll be shrubbery, ground cover. Again, the landscape plan this is not a landscape plan. This is just her suggestion for when you go to get a landscape plan where you would put things. And then the large canopy tree that I mentioned off of College Street there. And then to preserve some of the fruit trees and add some flowering trees in that back corner.
So
And
as
then,
we're looking at this right now,
Mhm.
college is on the right.
yes.
Okay.
Yep, and then right in front of the memorial where it's yellow on this picture, that's hoped to be some kind of ground cover or bulbs or something that will hopefully come up at least
Oh, yeah.
around Veterans Day or Memorial Day or both.
And that's here.
Right.
Mhm.
Mhm,
That would be a nice idea.
right.
So the play equipment will stay as this climbing structure and a swing.
We'll get to that.
Probably about all we'll have room for.
You're good questions. Okay, and what's she got going on here? Oh, the entrance sign is right next to where it says entrance sign. And she put that in that area to keep people from kind of cutting across that corner.
So, okay, show me where again, where's the entrance sign?
The entrance sign's right here.
Oh, I see.
Right there.
Okay. let me get
So
my
it's
bearings.
facing College Street.
College,
And you
okay.
can see
Oh,
it in
it's
the
where the
picture.
parkway is.
Yeah, you can see it in your.
It's just a
rendition. It looks like
square.
a little
So am I hearing this, there's gonna be a
Oh.
fence around this yard, I mean, this,
Just the backs, like along the
Where?
the
Here,
adjacent
here.
properties.
okay.
So the entrance will be here.
Because this is open to
The
street.
entrance is really right here.
So
This
just.
is the
Oh,
corner.
that is.
But you
Okay.
can use
That
that
looks
entrance to
like a
get back to
little
the
park.
pavilion or the playground.
Boy, there's.
Rather than walking just all over here.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Right
Right
door
next,
to it.
right next door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I see where the sign is. Here. Yeah,
Mhm.
right about here. That's.
She has recommended scaling the actual memorial monument down slightly, just based off the measurements that we had guessed on, and we kind of all along said that it was a guess and we didn't know. She has a recommendation for those for height, but she's put those at her recommended height, and she will give us her recommended measurements when we go to try to get the contract to have that built.
So the one tallest in the middle, you're talking about is that the eagle on there?
That's the
Mhm,
eagle
right.
in there. Mhm.
So when we talked about it before, what kind of height were we thinking about?
I think we had thought 7 or 8
Mhm.
feet on
Thought it
the
was
center
8
one,
feet.
and she's thinking,
So that people wouldn't climb on it.
yeah, she's thinking a little bit shorter than that, just so that it's not visually blocking everything and it doesn't look out of scale for the park.
Yeah,
And we talked a lot about that, about
I mean, it doesn't have to be like. four.
we didn't want it to be too large for the park, so
Mhm.
she does have a recommended size for that.
Makes sense.
And then she's also recommended a scale for the flagpoles of 25 or 30 feet.
So are there 3 flagpoles? in?
Yeah,
Yes.
and so,
Right
well,
there,
yeah,
130
okay,
and
Um,
225s. Silver.
Oh, yes, you're right. The center would be 30.
30 feet.
Yep, and the 225.
And what, and so are they gonna put names on the monuments or what?
No,
Nothing?
well,
His
we
name
had
is
talked
there.
about doing the military seals on the
Yeah.
monuments.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
That's what I thought we
she doesn't
decided to
have
do.
that level of design on this.
I thought we decided to do that, but
Yeah. Mhm.
So
Yeah.
just the medallions of each
Mhm.
branch of the
Mhm.
services?
Right.
Okay.
And a plaque, I think, that says
yeah.
something to the,
About when it was
about the
dedicated
veterans.
and why it
Mhm.
was
And who it
dedicated.
is, yeah.
right?
Mhm.
it was
What, which
donated by the
flags will be
family
hung
of-
there and when, or do we know that yet?
I don't know for sure which flags are hung for different events, but I could probably think of it if I picked my brain enough.
The
It's probably
US,
the,
the state, and
yep,
I don't know, maybe
maybe
POW flag or
POW or, yeah, they
Hmm.
have different flags that they do for different
Hmm.
events, I know. But they won't be up all the time. I think that when you were doing the survey, that was something that the neighbors were pretty concerned about,
Oh,
was
okay.
listening to them all the time. So they will,
Plop, plop.
they'll be going up for
Mhm.
special holidays,
Okay.
events, things like that. So,
So it's not.
So there won't be a flag there all the time.
right.
And it's not totally decided yet which flags will be up, is that right?
Well, there are certain flags that you put
Okay.
up for
Mhm.
certain
Okay.
remembrance days.
No lights.
They'll be like, they have to be
Yeah,
lighted.
they have to be lighted or they have to
Mhm.
come down at sundown.
Yeah.
Well,
Or the
that's what I
American
mean.
flag.
Yes, they'll be lighted.
So they will be, sometimes they will be up there overnight.
They could be, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I just think they're not going to be up continuous,
Okay.
like,
Is there any way that we could incorporate like a flag design into
I don't.
the sculpture or something that, so that there's a flag present
Oh, all the time.
always?
We can look at that. and
Yeah.
Maybe we could even do that.
Cause they
on
make
the- on the
lights,
plaque.
the
Yeah,
sun
something.
can, I mean, I know the city has them on the end of town down there where the flag is for the
Oh.
entry sign.
Uh-huh.
They got a light there.
Do they have that flag up all the time?
I think so,
Mhm.
as far as I know.
I thought it was, oh, okay.
I think so.
And it's got a light that shines on it,
Yeah,
comes
okay.
on daylight to dark, whatever.
Shows how much I noticed.
And so for the play equipment, she has made a recommendation for some play equipment. Not these colors, but this is what she could get.
Mhm.
And she had a reason for recommending what she did. But it may be that we find that the play equipment would be a good way to let the community have a little bit of input. Where
Mhm.
if we had a couple of different designs and color palettes where they could choose.
Mhm.
The swing set is one of the things that the community wanted. Climbing was one of the things.
okay.
And she's picked equipment that is low profile. She suggested a dark blue for color palette. Very little plastic. She wanted things that were metal, low profile, so that you don't just see play equipment when you look in the park, that it
Mhm.
is a
It's
little
not
more
the main
organic. It's not
thing
the
that you
main
want.
thing
Yeah.
that you see,
Mhm.
right?
That's a good idea. I like
And then just the equipment that she's chosen, there is a different circular one that she'd also shown me that are more inclusive so that a lot of kids can play on them. This equipment gives opportunities for that. So, which is important. And then the shelter, the pavilion does actually have a roof, but she's just showing that it would be more of a wood structure than the structure that she was, she had a drawing for. And that she's opened that up to the play area so that you can kind of access that shelter, whether you're doing something play related or memorial related.
But not a solid roof?
It has a solid roof. Yeah.
Okay.
She was just trying to give us
She just found something,
the
Okay.
concept
the
of
size and.
wood, that it will be wood.
Okay.
Will there be a table in there at all?
Yes, a couple of tables.
Okay.
So then you can use it for either the,
Parents can watch their kids and.
yeah,
Yeah.
or you can switch it over and use it. for
If
the-
there's an event and,
Mhm.
That's good,
yeah.
that's nice.
yeah, multi-use.
What is this rocky business in the sketch?
That's the climbing structure that you can't see very
And,
well up
oh,
there.
and then the little circle?
That's the red circular, it's like a spinning equipment of some sort.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
It's another toy. of some
Like a
sort.
Yes.
merry-go-round or
Okay.
something?
Yeah, kind of like a merry-go-round. Okay, and then I just wanted to touch briefly on the community survey to remind you from May 2021, which you did, and sorry, you cannot see this. Let me see if I can get over further though. There we go. There we go. And so the features that the survey went out on Facebook, I think, and I think that you also did some,
We walked.
you walked
Yeah.
the streets.
Yeah.
And the results were showing that people wanted to have benches and seating, a gazebo, flowers, something to climb on, play structure,
So
metal
what
or
are the
plastic.
top four? I'm sorry, I can't read.
Oh, benches and seating, gazebo or shaded picnic area, rose/flower garden, and natural areas.
Okay. So
Um,
where on there does the playground equipment? come in?
The next.
Would
Next one is
be,
climbing rock.
Yeah,
Rock
so
wall.
the climbing rocks is part of the play equipment, the metal plastic play structure, sand play area, swing set, slide. So there's quite a few of those as well. So we did incorporate as many of these things that were selected from in the design as we could.
You know, it makes me wonder if we're gonna be able to do all them, because that's not that big area.
No, it's not, but. you
Well,
don't know.
this is the design. I mean, she has
Mhm.
like, this is laid out in a design that you can build. So
But all of those.
Yeah,
things,
no.
All those offerings.
No, they can't.
I don't know that everything is
Yeah,
in
all
there,
that
but
would be
I think the
included.
design definitely has benches and seating,
Yeah.
Sure.
the pavilion,
Yeah.
the gazebo
Of
covered
course,
area,
5.
flowers, the natural area, that corner is
Mhm.
gonna be like kind of a natural orchard. There's play structures, which incorporate a number of those things.
Mhm.
So I really think most everything
Yeah.
is there in one
I
way or
like
another.
the little climbing thing.
Mhm.
Well,
because
that building there, whatever it
doesn't-
is, that'll encompass a lot of what they're talking about
Well,
there.
it depends how big that is, but this doesn't take up a lot of room, but it's a fun structure.
Right. And that was the
Um,
thought, is just to try to
Sure,
put
and then a swings with like maybe 2 or 3.
two, just
And
a
that
two.
2 is fine,
Mhm.
but sand pit and a slide and all that.
No sand pit.
It's too
That's
much, I think.
It's maintenance issues,
Yeah, that
honestly.
too, that too.
Sand pits are not
Yeah.
always as great as they seem to be.
Mhm.
And the slide, we did
Yeah,
look at,
some of them.
we looked at having a structure that you climb and has a slide, but
Mhm.
again, she's trying to get away from, those have a lot of plastic on
Yeah.
them,
Yeah,
and they're
cut the plastic.
sizable. Like when you look through the park,
Yes,
you would see
indeed.
that.
Yeah.
And she was trying to keep the other features of
Mhm.
the park a little more
I
centralized.
like what she's done.
Okay.
I think that those
so
Me too.
Let me get back
Ideal
over
for
here.
this kind of park.
Ooh, look at all
So-
the tulips.
This is veteran memorial related. So what veteran memorial features would you like to see at the park?
Yeah.
Again, benches and seating, and there's a lot of benches in the park and seating. Water feature is something that was not put in.
Yeah.
Again, it's a maintenance issue.
Right.
Water, it's too much of a maintenance issue for a pocket park. Flowers, we do intend to put flowers in, flagpoles, the plaque, which we've talked about putting on the memorial. Yeah, they have USA and POW flags. military emblems, which we also have, are going to incorporate in the memorial.
Mhm.
And the other, please specify, I cannot remember what they were, but I think they said some versions of what's already on here.
Mhm.
And then a bronze statue, we've also looked at the bronze eagle, so
Mhm.
we've kind of covered everything that came up on the survey.
Looks good to me.
I like the
Okay.
idea.
I think it's
And
nice.
so these I'm not going to show you because they're not going to come up and you have them, so I'm going to stop screen sharing. And we'll go back to
Um,
looking at ourselves here.
and so maybe I haven't present this since my son lives next door. But what kind of fence are we talking about? I mean, are we talking about one that is, like a chain link you can see through,
Yeah.
or a chain link with those slats so you can't see through it?
So
or-
there's already a fence on the one side, as you know, and
Why would you want to hide it?
It's pretty old.
yeah, that might stay. We might not replace that currently, but the front portion, we're going to talk to the property owner and see the thoughts on, do you want that to be a 6-foot
Mm.
fence and as far as we can go before we get to the 4-foot requirement? But we are looking at like a chain link type fence with some
Just that.
privacy slats and then planting shrubs and trees in front of it so that that's going to look more natural. And the same with the back of the property, you know, there's not a fence on that back part. So that would be what we would do there. Yeah. So just to, you know, try to give privacy and do plantings, she's suggested
I
having
guess-
shrubs that will give some
Mhm.
privacy and noise block and all of that along those properties, which you can see like in this picture. If you look in the back, you can
Yes.
see pretty well that there's quite a bit of shrubbery in there.
Mhm.
And I presume that that kind of fence is more economical than some other kind.
Right,
Mhm.
right. Yeah.
It's easier to maintain.
It's easier to
Mhm.
maintain. Mhm. It does last a long time. The
Longer
maintenance
than
on
wood,
it
yeah.
is pretty low. Yeah, so that being said, what I am looking for is hopefully your recommendation. It'd be great if it's unanimous. If we make design changes at this point, we've expended our design budget, so we will have to put additional cost into that. However, if there is something that you'd like to see, what I would like to do is get a recommendation. And if you have an additional thing or something you want changed, that we just make that recommendation of the council so that they can decide if we're going to incur more cost getting and time getting the design done.
So you want us to ask them and not you?
No, so that you would just make a recommendation tonight to say,
Okay.
you know, if you said, I do not want that sign on this street, I think it should go over here. Then I would just take that to them, that you recommend the overall park, however, you would like to see the sign moved. So if you have something like that. And I was trying to think if anything else had changed on the design. We did remove a couple benches in the playground area. That here it shows 2 and 2, and there's 1 and 1, and then there's this one bench here by the pavilion. It also looks out in the playground that has an ADA area next to it. And that was just because there were a lot of benches in the park.
Mhm.
Like we want to get adequate seating, but with picnic tables, all of those benches and those benches, it did seem a little bit like it was overboard on benches.
So
So
what is she envisioning as far as the material for those benches, and steel, metal?
her vision, it looks like they're not, they won't be wood, but they would be like the recycled.
That
Wood.
recycled stuff.
You can see on hers.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
That's good stuff.
but we don't, we don't know what that will end up like. Those are choices that will have to be made down the road, but she showed them as kind of a wood look.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um,
Vinyl.
Yeah, well, we do have another, yeah, we have another style of bench that we've been using, like the city park, the grant that we got. The benches that we ordered have like metal armrests and metal legs, and then they have
Oh.
the recycled
Mhm.
plastic that looks like wood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And the sign you're talking about, this one, that they want to move.
That's the
to-
sign. Yeah, no, I don't think it needs to move. I was just saying if there were something, I'd just rather.
So
take
it's
it to
kind
the
of a
council.
low profile sign. It's not a great big like up on post sign. It's down
Like the one
low.
they're gonna put at the.
And it's gonna look more like a memorial.
I think it will be a sign. The Timber Guild did say that they would like to also take the sign on as project. They
Oh.
said that OSU can cut that with their CNC machine
Mm.
with wood. So I don't know how tall it will actually be. That's,
But you think it's gonna be like on posts in the ground, or is it, this looks like a solid piece of cement or
I
something that they're gonna
know.
hang great.
Just-
yeah,
just
this
a
is just a very, very high level design. This is not, it's not a sign design. It's really a placeholder.
Okay,
So it's up to us at some point to say, this is what we would like the
Okay.
sign to look like. And I'm hoping the Timber Framers Guild will make a recommendation.
Okay.
It sounded like
okay.
they've already thought about it. So
Is this all, there's gonna be a lot of grass and lawn on this? I don't know where it'd be that big.
Some.
there's
Not
some,
really.
and then we may
Half and
decide
half
to
is
put,
fine.
you know, there may be plantings in there. That's kind of up to us when a landscape plan is made.
Yeah, they probably
yeah.
create a lot of
The
maintenance.
the maintenance on it too, just kind of figuring what's easier to maintain.
Right.
My
Yeah.
feeling on the sign that says which park it is,
Mhm.
the one that's on the sidewalk, is that you don't need it huge because it is a memorial park and everything to do with the memorials
It'll be
Stuff
obvious.
is already in there.
Mhm.
You don't
Right.
need an explanation of what that is,
Yeah.
but just what's the name of this park?
Yes, and I think the
Yeah.
intent was to just
Yeah.
put the
Yeah. I'm
Paul
happy with
Cochran
that.
Veterans Memorial
Mhm.
Park.
Yeah.
And I think, I think her design, this isn't a design, but I think she was intending, again, for it to be low profile. I think
Mhm.
her main thing with this is to give it as much of a natural look as
Sure.
it can have, so that you're focusing on the memorial itself and not the other
I think that's
features.
good.
Well, I think it's gonna dress up the neighborhood considerably.
Yes, it will.
So then, just procedure wise, she's designed this, so then does it go after the city council approves
Mhm.
something? Does it then go to an engineering firm or does she?
Yeah,
engineer it?
we'll turn it over to Public Works and they'll work on getting like engineered
Mm.
plans,
Okay.
like building
I mean,
plans.
because I know that's a low area
Yeah,
as far as
Mhm.
it's a lot of good clay.
right.
Oh.
And the
Mhm.
water
Mm.
table kind of, it could float, and I'm assuming
Mhm.
that there'll do some drainage and things.
Yeah, I assume so. Yeah, it'll be turned over for a contractor.
Yeah.
It'll be construction company that builds it.
Does it stay wet when it rains a lot?
There are sections there, I mean, I don't know exactly with that one, but I know where my son
Next door,
lives.
yeah.
There's some areas on that east side. That
Okay.
there might be some standing water.
Most of
And the
the,
other
Most
concern
most
obviously would
property
be,
do.
if you build that up, then does the
Then
water go into
Into
the
your son's
adjacent
place,
property?
yeah.
most of the properties in the Willamette Valley have that situation.
Everyone around me does, including myself.
Yeah.
All the water comes to
I'm
my
just glad I
house,
don't-
No
I'm
kidding.
just glad I don't live on the south side.
everything from
Well,
this part of town.
My house is higher than the rest of my property, but. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah, good. I like what you've done here. I like the ideas.
So
I
do
think
we,
that,
so we want to send a recommendation to the city council that
Should
we approve to
move
go forward with this?
Recommend this to the city council.
Are you moving to recommend this design to the city
I will do
council?
that. I will move that we, I will move that we go forward with the plan that we currently have here and recommend it to city council for approval.
Is there a second?
I'll second. I'm happy with her ideas.
Okay,
You wanna Vote
so
on it?
we have a motion and a second to approve these to send to the city council for their further review.
Any discussion?
Yeah, any
I
discussion?
would like the possibility of some kind of permanent looking flag. May not need to be, might not need to be a flag, but a
Even another.
Maybe in the
medallion.
plaque even.
in a plaque or
Okay.
something that has that flag in there.
So Sandy would like,
times.
would like to make an amendment to the motion to add a flag.
Make sure there's a
Symbol?
permanent
Symbol.
flag
A
symbol,
permanent flag. symbol.
Permanent flag symbol
Permanent.
Thank you.
Okay,
somewhere.
in the
Okay.
design.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So now we have that on the table. Does everyone want to vote on that?
So read that back again.
Well, okay, move to go forward with the plan currently that we currently have presented and recommend to the city council to move forward with the design with an amendment to add a flag symbol into the design.
Mhm.
Okay,
So we vote on that first?
all those in
Yeah,
favor?
Sandy's thing first, or?
Aye.
You can
Yeah.
vote on that if
Yeah.
everyone's okay. I don't think we're that.
Okay.
formal. Okay.
Motion carries.
Great.
So do we have anything else to do on the?
No, if you want to try to come to that council meeting
I will.
or anyone else that wants to come,
When
just
is
to
it?
support it.
When is it?
I believe that it is November.
This is my
17th?
November, this is my November calendar. so
Oh my
far.
goodness.
Oh, you're almost as bad as me. I think I may
14th.
not be.
November 14th.
14.
Oh,
I
seven
will
look
be.
p.m.
at that. I don't
Yeah.
have anything on the 14th. I can fill it in.
That's a Monday.
Yes,
Monday.
At 7, right?
November
Yes, I think it's
14
at
at
7.
7 p.m.
What time they start? 7?
Council's at 7?
7.
Yeah.
That's bedtime.
Yeah, really.
I don't even have.
You
dinner.
could also, if you would need to, you can Zoom. We can ask
Do
Ruth.
they
7 p.m.
just meet once a month?
They sometimes have special
They
meetings.
used to meet
Yeah,
the
so they meet,
second and fourth
yeah, they
Monday.
meet sometimes the fourth Monday.
When I was mayor, I don't know how they do it now.
Okay, good.
And then back to my original question.
Yes.
Does this suffice for a November meeting?
Um,
Or,
I don't have anything for the agenda currently for November, so if everyone is okay with not holding a meeting in November, we can just plan to meet in December again.
well, I
I
know.
think Dale
that
and I
our
talked about
meeting
that.
would be before the city council meeting.
Right.
So it-
There's not a whole lot of point in that.
So we
I
could
mean, maybe
postpone.
We've
meet in
already
December.
talked about what they're gonna deal.
Yeah.
And what about if we just like November, December, if we just do like we did for this meeting and call a meeting if we've got something to do? Because normally we don't meet in December, do we?
Yeah, we've not.
That's what we,
Okay.
we can always call up.
Mhm.
a
So we could
meeting.
just postpone
Yeah,
those
that'd be-
meetings and if
yeah.
something
How
comes
many
up.
do we have on this committee?
1,
Uh,
2, 3, 4,
8.
5, 6, 7.
7.
Seven or
I
eight?
can't
Who are we
Seven.
missing? We're missing.
Yvonne and
Yvonne
Rose.
and Roseberry.
Yvonne
That's just the
and
two, those are.
Yvonne and-
Carol Finley,
Rose.
Chelsea,
Rose
and Sheila here.
Rose. Rose is not
So
here.
it's 1, 2,
Rose
3,
and Yvonne.
5, 6, 7, 7 of us.
Now, the other question is, do we get to keep these or do we have to give them back to you?
So
You can keep
use it for
that.
the City
It's,
council.
it's publicized.
Okay.
So yeah, you can keep
I don't
those.
think I need to keep them if you want them for the
And
city
I
council.
will let you know if you're not at the council meeting, which they do
Do
get,
you want these for the
long.
city council?
no, you can keep those if you want,
Sure.
or leave them, either way.
You might have somebody who wants to look at them.
I
yes.
think I'm gonna keep one.
You can show them around.
I
Um,
have it too.
Did you get a response from Republic on a couple of yard debris carts?
I wrote to the city manager and public works director and asked them to reach out. I have not gotten a response.
Okay.
I know that they have contact and I gave the specifications, so
Okay,
you might want to follow up with public works director.
okay.
Yeah, that's my best recommendation. He did get the email,
He
so
is, his name.
Kevin Fear.
Kevin Few.
Kevin.
Fear.
Kevin Few.
Yes.
His backup is Gary Black.
Kevin.
Yeah, he's good guy.
Does anyone have
Spell the
any
last
other
name?
questions? FEAR.
Okay. And Kevin and Black, what did you say?
Gary Black.
Gary Black.
Two
yeah.
R's in Gary.
Gary didn't get the email though. Kevin did,
Okay.
so he'll know
All right.
what you're talking
Good.
about.
I'll follow up with them. We're just, yeah, like I said, we're talking, drop it off at 9, come
Yeah.
back and pick it up at 3, and we're
Yeah.
only gonna be 2 hours.
Yeah.
We're gonna do on Veterans Day.
You what now?
My church is gonna do a cleanup project, a service project in the park and just clean things
Oh.
up a little.
Okay.
Cause there's a lot of,
City Park?
this part,
This part,
Oh, that part.
yeah,
On Veterans Day, is that Monday?
no,
it's a Friday,
Friday,
the
Oh, I'm
11th.
thinking of,
Halloween's on Monday.
14th of November. Is that a Friday?
That's a Monday.
That's Monday.
That's a
That's the
Monday, yeah.
council
Monday,
meeting.
yeah.
That's the city.
That's the
council.
city council meeting.
Yeah. I
So
thought that was-
Mondays in November are 7, 14, 21, and 20.
Oh, like the. way
Veterans
it's
Day is
announced.
the 11th.
Veterans,
Excuse me.
yes, it is. Of
Is the
course it
11th.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
What is
Friday.
on the 24th then? Why am I got that in my brain?
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. Yeah.
We're not meeting on Thanksgiving.
I won't even be here. Okay, thank you.
Or Christmas.
Oh, really?
They gotta have that stump ground out of there by the time.
Well, that's not our problem. I thought it was gonna be our problem, and that was gonna
We
be the
took care of
focus
it.
of our
Oh,
work day
To
was
clean up.
cleaning up after they cut that tree down, because when I drove down the street and saw that they were cutting the tree down, I went crazy. And, but then the next time I drove by, they'd cleaned it all.
Oh, did they clean it?
I could have swore that they had the dump graders already been in there.
So.
Well, when was that? They-
I just saw
A
it
day or
after the
two
ground.
ago, they were still there.
The
a
stump
big-
grinder
just a
was
big
coming.
flat-
Yeah.
Yeah.
They grind it up.
Would we like to adjourn the meeting, Dale?
Sure.
Are we still?
So we can get off.
Meeting adjourned.
Thank you, Dale.
So Chelsea, do you want us to move these tables around or something?
No, there's another